Hey everyone, just looking to do some more market review, market analysis for this upcoming week. So, I've not done one of these for a little bit of a while, but the last thing I was kind of looking for, I think I may have posted, was kind of looking for those kind of forming a lower high each time that we go, basically. I think last time we were looking, we kind of noticed that maybe it was around this point that we're potentially going to form a lower high around this some point. It didn't really have much conviction that we were going to smash through this level and to another all-time high. And I think the giveaway here, fair enough, we found support here, and between these 2 points here, we're obviously looking at potentially creating a bit of a channel. Obviously, the strong support here. There's a lot of stuff going on here. This is the election gap. This is the previous kind of highs that we had where things start to stutter out a little bit. So we know that this is kind of a strong support point around this level, and we demonstrated that quite clearly. But there doesn't seem much conviction to get out of it either. So we obviously have a breakaway here, but again the volume drops off. Fair enough, this is towards the end of the year, but again we drop back down again. Volume picks up a little bit, but again we find support. So it's almost like buyers and sellers are a little bit paired off at the moment, but I'm kind of leaning towards the bearish side. So maybe a 60-40 split towards the bears, which did increase actually around this point. Once we kind of failed to kind of reach that level and we had a huge, obviously, engulfing candle here, I was short a couple of stocks and then just rode it down to the support. I thought maybe this was our chance to break through. So this was a really nice candle on very excellent volume as well. But what we want to see, that we see with a lot of candles we've had recently, we need to see a degree of confirmation and follow through. So, with this level ticking up, potentially didn't even, to be fair, actually reach that candle. I want to see confirmation. So if we blow back above this and we say we got above that candle, I want to see a nice strong support. I want to see a strong candle to get away from these levels. Whereas obviously what we end up seeming to get is a decline. But so what we got anyway was this candle here. So we know the support here is strong. So we know that breaking through that and breaking only just through that 100 SMA is good, but it's not enough to start entering positions there. I was waiting for confirmation of these levels. So I wanted to see, and the worst case scenario probably for bears actually, again from my perspective, is a gap down, because gap reversals are pretty common. So, and it's the most common outcome. Although it would be great to see if we got that and continuation, but I would be a bit wary because we're straddled quite far from these EMAs. People have different levels. I have the 8 to the 15, but if we're straddling that far away from it, I would be a little bit like, well, we're probably going to find support around here somewhere because there's not much driving this lower. Economic numbers have been good. Stuff to do with Trump's tax break stuff coming in. People seem particularly bullish around that. So this kind of gap reversal is a bullish sign. So that's a bullish sign. I was away on holiday, so I was out of my positions, I think, around on this day anyway. If it was Friday, it was Friday. So I was out there anyway, because I'd lost conviction. I was quite happy actually. Maybe we got the confirmation we needed to add to positions. So I exited my positions here because I just don't trust the market. I'm not quite sure. I don't think it knows what direction it's going in yet either. So I exited here for any short positions. Would have kept going depending if I had confirmation and added, but I didn't get the confirmation. So would have exited here. And from what we've seen before, we could be, some initial starting long positions, not to hold very long, to be honest, a day, 2 days, because we can't really trust this level. We're just kind of bouncing up and down within a bit of a range at the moment. Sorry, I didn't have my drawings on, but I'm just looking at this range here, basically, that we're kind of seeing. We've formed ourselves. There's a bigger range I'm kind of looking at, but this is the one I found quite interesting. So yeah, we've got to rally up. But again, similar to these last ones, this just doesn't strike me with conviction. Fair enough, these gaps are large. They're quite large gaps, but they're not coming on great volume. So a lot of the move is made, pre-market before the market kind of opens. And again, wary of gap reversals, especially that one. That's quite a big gap reversal, getting up to or a possible trend reversal. So if I was potentially, I don't know, long here and then held and sold, I'd be selling out there probably around the open. I don't think I'd want to be holding for very long because, like we say, that's quite a big move up. And yeah, fair enough, you could hold longer, but it's just not a great swing trading environment, is it really? So a possible rejection of that, but it didn't happen. But then we've broken the range. So what are we waiting for that we've just been talking about? Confirmation. We want to see this hold. I don't have a huge amount of conviction that it will. Stuff with any president coming in is always going to have some bullish sentiment. There's a lot of excitement. What might happen with what's happening with Trump cuts, tax cuts, all those sorts of things. We could ride a little bit higher. But yes, this volume is above that average, but if we kind of zoom out a bit more, we can just see this is where the real volume's been. We are miles away from that, aren't we? There's good, excellent volume pushing up, and we've been declining for a long time. So even though this is a moving average of 50, and yes, we're above that, which is great, that moving average 50, it's when we're looking at the top of this range, it's not really great for us pushing to those higher levels. And maybe we will push towards those upper levels, but I'd be looking for a reversal here potentially. That's kind of my thinking. From the weekly, it looks great. To be fair, from a weekly, right, you've got this nice bullish engulfing candle here, engulfing that previous week on better volume than what we've had. But again, I just don't really have that, conviction. To be fair, could we be in this situation where we get a nice bullish engulfing candle and then kind of tick, tick, tick a little bit higher, then down again? Potentially. Yeah, potentially. Monthly doesn't show us a huge amount either. But just from the daily perspective, that's what I'm kind of interested in looking at, is to see kind of what happens. Can we hold this level that we've jumped out at here? We gave a little bit of the gains back, but overall, looking to start to get some picks. But I'll probably look at both short and some long positions. So I think I've been catching up with the news because I haven't been back that much, but obviously financials had a pretty decent time, some very good earnings from, I think it was JPM, wasn't it? Wells Fargo had some great earnings. So we can see here from financials, they've had a great time. They've had a really, really great time. So this is a sector that we potentially might be bullish on. If we're looking for bullish picks, we want to pick a strong sector within that. But looking at everything else, there were some things that obviously I'd kind of noticed, which is QQQ, obviously reflective of SPY, has kind of broken out of this range and it's looking pretty good. But the candle's not the worst. I think when I look at it a bit closer, that and then into that, that's not too bad. So that potential breaking of the range there, and we still finish outside of it. So a good volume on QQQ as well. So maybe. Again, we're finding some sectors. So obviously, what I'd be interested in knowing is the breakout that we're seeing on good volume. So I like to look at sometimes RSP and just equal weighting, and is the overall S&P 500 coming back up? And the answer to that was yes. So overall, everything has kind of pushed up, which is good. That's pretty good. So some sectors are doing pretty well. So we referenced financials. But what I did find interesting about the last day last week actually was just looking at VIX. So let me just get the SPY up. So usually when SPY is going up, VIX tends to go down, but this is a 5-minute chart. And what you find is VIX kind of opens, the market caps up, but VIX slowly actually creeps up through the day as the market also creeps up. So usually they're kind of inverse to each other. So that's that's interesting. I found that quite an interesting anomaly, because looking at kind of VIX overall, again, it's the same sort of thing. It's kind of entered into its own range as well. And then we're obviously looking at volatility with that. So as VIX goes up, we're expecting some more volatility. Is kind of my perspective of that a little bit. But yeah, we mentioned financials doing pretty well, but which ones are a bit slow? Consumer staples, bit slow to get off the bottom there as the market kind of started to rally. Staples, bit slow to that, not the best. Healthcare seems to be one of the more bearish sectors at the moment, so hasn't really got off the ground very well, if at all. Actually, to be honest, if we look back to that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday last week, hasn't really got off the ground at all. Volume started to come back in for that one. The last 2 days didn't get much, but so straight off the bat, I might be looking at potentially financials, and we can look at XLK will be in here somewhere, but potentially that and elements within QQQ. So QQQ stuff and XLK technology for potentially technology longs, and financial, within that mainly as well for longs, and for shorts we may be looking at the healthcare sector just to kind of load up for that. And the IWN, the Russell 2000, was just looking at some of the smaller companies, like was the S&P 500 rally we saw did it also occur within the Russell 2000? And the answer to that is yes, it did partake in that. But as we can see, as we come back up, there's lots of points of resistance, lots of resistance points to come back through. So yeah, we looked at RSP, real estate again. Yeah, done all right, I suppose, but we're coming into 200 SMA territory and resistance. How are these buyers? If we don't have that conviction and volume to break through all these levels again, are we going to be breaking through for very long? Industrials, yep, done all right, pretty good. Joined the overall market rally. But again, volume not the best across the board. Energy I've been pretty bullish on since the market's been going a bit downhill. So I think I was long some stocks. I have to reference my journal to see what I had. But it was a couple of energy stocks, basically. I think maybe KMI was one of those. XLC, yep, did comms really partake that much in the rally? Not really, to be honest, and kind of approaching for me a key A VWAP level, anchored to these two different points here that kind of coincide nicely. At these points. But again, didn't really participate in it as well as I would have liked. And the volume, especially in comms, actually pretty poor. Technology, same again. Definitely partook in the rally, but how's the volume? Awful. That's got to be one of the lowest volume levels, hasn't it? The 16th one, surely. Yeah, pretty historically quite low. Yeah, not good. And again, this is where we want to see the real volume. We are miles away from that. So yeah, just don't have the highest conviction for a lot of these longs. TLT got a bit of a reprieve back there because we've been going downhill for quite a bit of time. Utilities, yeah, definitely partook in that rally, which is quite good. XLY, consumer staples, again, kind of got off the block. But you can see why, you build this picture of the rally just doesn't seem that great. So if you going back to SPY, you're like, do I have conviction to buy? Yep, we're broken through. I'm happy to go long. Fantastic. Not really, to be honest. Not really from my perspective. If we gap up into here, I'd be looking more of a reversal than a continuation. We could get a continuation, no doubt. We could enter some longs if the pullback is tested. We might enter some longs there if it holds. But yeah, with earnings season in play, it's some interesting stuff to potentially look at. So I was obviously away last week, but earnings across the financials seem to be pretty solid, to be honest, from some of the analysis I've read. So yeah, financial section doing really well, good, reflective of the economy as well. So that's pretty good. So we've got to be wary of some more earnings coming this week, stuff like Netflix, some more kind of financials, some big hitters potentially here coming this week outside of the tech sector. GV, one of my favourites. So yeah, there's quite a few earnings coming. Don't want to dive into those too deeply. And the other bit I was thinking of was just around what events do we have? Obviously, Trump today. That's the main thing happening. And unemployment claims. Let's see how that does. Numbers have been strong across the board. So no concerns there. I think is the good thing for the bulls. There's nothing of great concern. And then obviously got PMI bits coming later in the week. So overall, that's my kind of thinking on the markets. Not super confident in the move. Let's see what happens let things settle a little bit. Kind of just focusing on very small position sizes, small swings. If I am doing swings, because I'm limited to that PDT rule, I kind of feel compelled sometimes to do into the second day, but I don't really want to. I think at the moment. So that's to see what happens and look to get some picks out as well. But that's it. But thanks everyone. Let me know what you think as well, some of you, and feel free to comment. And I'm curious to see what some of you guys think as well.